Okay, this is going to be a quick vid, but it's going to be a multi-part video, a series on the new features that are related to multimeters. So let's have a quick look at it. So this will be part one. So what we'll do, we'll add a multimeter here, and we'll add average signal strength to it for now. And we will get it out of the window and just have it here, like so. So the new features start in networking, multimeter I/O. Let's delete this one. So what we can do with this is create a way to get data to and from these meters via networking at the moment. Eventually there's going to be serial and a bunch of other stuff, but at the moment it's UDP and TCP IP. So what we can do, we can add a UDP listener on port 9000 on the local host, and this is PST rotator down here, and I've got it configured UDP to send to 12,000. Well, that's where it receives data from, so you can control this by sending stuff to the UDP port 12,000, but it also outputs on 12,001. So we've created one up here in Thetis, but I'm going to alter it, so I click there and then I'm going to change this to 12,001, like so. And you can see that it's changed some of the data, and we get this odd flashing light every so often, but we don't see anything appear here. That's because the format from this is a semicolons delimited data stream, and if I switch it to raw, we will see this. When I move the rotator, you'll see a variable come up here. So we're currently at 245, 240, it's changing, it's probably windy out there. So that variable is, that data is getting from PST rotator into Thetis, and it is on this UDP input port that we've configured here. We've said it's an input on that local IP, that port, and we can see the data is coming in every so often. The green light's flashing. If I was to swing it around, the green light will come on a lot as it moves around. So what we can do with this, when we create one of these, we get a unique 4-character ID for it, and we can copy it into the clipboard by clicking on this. And what we can do then is go to Appearance Multimeter. We can add one of these text overlays that we looked at in the last video. So if we add a text overlay, we can type some stuff in here. Hello, that type of thing. But what we can put is rotator equals and something. And that something is the variable over here, and you can see that it's got this prefix on it, 8N AZ, and that's case sensitive, and then a dot AZ. So if we were to type that in here with the percent signs and stuff, then we would start seeing the number there. But what we can do, we can click on this and click on copy, so that copies it into the clipboard. We can just come here and do Control V, and as you can see, the number from here, 295, has appeared there. So we can swing this around and it will update. Now I am going to be adding a rotator node to these items. We'll have a background image and stuff and an arrow, and it'll all swing around, so that'll be cool. But that's just a quick look at how we can get data in to the system. So There's not really much more to say about this. What you can do as well is set an output on this, but we'll look at that in the next video. What we could try here is adding a TCP/IP one. So let's add an input TCP/IP, and we'll have it on. We can have it on that localhost port 9000. So there it is running. And if I was to load up some software putty here, so we'll connect in 001 port 9000 raw, and we will connect. So this is now connected to this, and this is 1-to-1, so you can't have multiple connecting into that. If we were to connect another one to it, it will say no, go away. So port 9000, and in a moment it will come up with a message connection refused. So it's always a 1-to-1 with the TCP/IP. And if we switch the input into raw and we do something like test:123 and press enter, you can see that 123 has got through on test, and there's the 4-digit code there, the 4-character code. If we were to copy this, now go to this, and we add another text overlay, and we paste that what did I call it? Test, wasn't it? Percent. And there you go. There's that 123. So if I come over to Telnet now and I go test 12, we can hello. We can literally change that via a TCP/IP connection, and we can add multiple variables in here. So var1 : hello. And they all appear here, and they can be used out here. Something else I should also mention, this is now being changed so we can have as many of the same item as we want. You can have hundreds of the same item, and the reason being, say for instance we had a power meter here, forward power, and we had forward power, and that's obviously forward power for the ANAN. But if we had a piece of software which was feeding power into this I/O connection, so something like power 50, we see it there. See this. Let's get rid of these. We can delete these old variables. We don't need them. So if we were to now do power, we now do power 10, we see that it changes there. However, if we come to the meters that we just added, we've got these new buttons here, and you can define where it's going to get its data from. So that power variable, we will use it for the meter, and if an external piece of software was sending in from a linear, say, it was currently now 100 watts, the meter is moving. So we can specify different variables to assign to parts of the actual meter, and if we added like an ALC, we'll get the two parts of that, ALC and ALC peak, because those are the two in the you can see it in the ADC. There's the two, there's the peak, and there's the regular. So we could let's create something. What's this? ADC, call that -40, and ADC peak minus say 35. Now we could come into here. We've got those ADC. We want to use the peak for that one, and we want to use the regular one for that. So we can see now that these two markers are those two values. So if an external piece of software was changing ADC peak on this TCP/IP connection to -20, so essentially you can drive these meters with external data using this system. Okay, so that's the first video on input into the system. The next one will be talking about output. Alright, cheers.